Hello, I want to talk about the rule of the octave and why it's important to know the rule of the octave. The basic principle behind the rule of the octave is that it outlines a pattern of tension and resolution in harmony. And tension and resolution in harmony is where a lot of the expression comes from in harmony. So for example, if I play a piece like Julia Florida, there's a pattern of tension and resolution, or resolution and tension, whichever way you want to look at it. So we start on a tonic chord, and then we go to tension, and then resolution, tension, resolution, tension, resolution, tension, resolution, tension. Resolution. The rule of the octave has the notes of the scale in it, so there are 8 notes ascending and 8 notes descending. So each note of the scale is sort of assigned with a different degree of tension or resolution. So some notes are harmonized with a chord of resolution, and some are harmonized with a chord of tension. And there are also chords in between where they're partly stable and partly unstable. So the chords of stability are the 1, 5, and 8 chords. So the tonic, dominant, and then the tonic. So in this case, if we're in the key of D major, we look at the rule of the octave in D major. We have harmonized on the 1st degree of the scale. We have a major chord in root position. On the 5th degree of the scale, on A, we have a major chord in root position. And on the 8th chord, we have a major chord in root position. So that chord symbolizes or represents the most stable and resolved chord. So that's why when we play something like that, which is D major, harmonized over D, we have stability. All of the other chords in the rule of the octave are to a degree unstable. The 3rd degree, however, is partly stable and partly unstable. So that's a chord, in this case, it's harmonizing on F sharp if we're in the key of D major, F sharp. And so the way it's harmonized is with a major chord in 1st inversion. So once you put a chord into an inversion, it creates instability, or it creates tension in that chord. We want that chord to move somewhere else. Right? Other factors that create instability or tension are when you have 7th chords. And so the remaining chords in the rule of the octave are 7th chords in various inversions. So the 2nd chord built on E is a dominant 7th chord, an A 7th chord, that then resolves partly to the 3rd degree, D major in 1st inversion. Then we go to the 4th degree, we have a 7th chord there. So that's unstable, and then that resolves to the stable major chord in root position. Here we have a 7th chord again on the 6th degree. And then the 7th degree also is unstable with a 7th chord, dominant 7th, and then we resolve. Now on the way down, the harmonization is slightly varied. So we have stable tonic chord in root position, unstable, unstable, and then resolution on the 5th, unstable, part resolution, unstable, and then full resolution. So it's that pattern of tension and resolution that we find in the rule of the octave that's really important to pick up on. You don't have to know necessarily the exact theory behind every chord, but just by knowing the 1, 5, and 8 chords are stable and the rest are unstable is very useful. The third degree being partly stable, partly unstable is also useful to know that. So what I'm trying to do in the way that I play the chords is I'm playing the stable chords softly and with little, just not making a big sort of deal out of them. And then the unstable chords, I'm rolling, giving more emphasis to those. And that's really important. And it depends on the degree of how unstable that chord is. So the more unstable the chord, the more weight and expressivity you can give to it. So that's why, for example, in Julia Florida, we go, that's stable, we go to a dominant chord. And so it's relatively unstable, but not too much so. Dominant, partly stable. Here we have D major in first inversion. Then we go to a D augmented chord, and that's very, very unstable. So you can really raise the eyebrows at that moment. It resolves 7 chord D7 to G major in first inversion, so it's partly unstable. B minor resolution. E7 to the dominant. So this is why understanding harmony is really important in terms of stability and instability, tension and resolution. It's what gives music that sort of ebb and flow, how much time to take, what sort of dynamics to inflect the music with. So that's just a quick sort of glance at the rule of the octave and why it's useful to us as a performer. There are many other uses for the rule of the octave, such as harmonization, composition, and improvisation. And also just as a general technical exercise on the guitar. It's a great exercise for both hands. So I hope that's given you a little bit of an idea of why the rule of the octave is so useful. Thanks.